I was checking for this snapshot.
Well, I can't say I followed this auction. There's only one thing that will excuse the auction, and that is Four Spades coming home.
That's a good lead from North. He does not want roughs, for sure. He'd like to shorten to Clara. I think with this lead, this contract cannot be made.
You have to wonder whether West read that two-note trump bid as it was intended. Three-note trumps looks like a rather natural bid to me, and I totally understand him doing it if two-note trumps was natural, and he's got the nice club suit that looks like it might run.
Well, were Gavris and Klukowski the third pair that came for Poland? I think they were restricted in what system they could use, and it may be that this one is unfamiliar to them. There was some sort of WBF ruling on what systems the Poles could use as a sort of a compensating factor to allowing them to bring a third pair to add to the two pairs that were continuing.
Yeah. Still, it's hard to see it applying, that sort of constraint applying to this auction. This looks to me to be just an ordinary garden variety of stuff-up.
Well, same contract at the other table. Goes down 2. No surprise.
Yes, if this auction was a bit strange, that goes doubly for the auction at the other table. A 2-spade overcall of 1 diamond. I wonder what on earth that was meant to mean.
No, I used that 2 spades in one of my partnerships. I used that 2 spades to show 5-5 in spades and clubs. I know there are a lot of European conventions for these 2 suited hands, so maybe it was that sort of a thing. Spades and a minor, spades or spades and clubs.
Yep, so now the sky falls down.
Well, he's out for down 1, so that's going to be 2 imps to Poland.
Yes, I think Upmark had to switch to the king of clubs rather than a low club to avoid this club setting up, but that's neither here nor there.
It's here and there. It's a trick and 2 imps.
All right. Well, we'll get back to that hand on Saturday when we see if it makes any difference. This is a pretty long match.
It's 8 segments of 16 boards.
Yeah, 128 boards.
So there's a thin 4-heart contract available north-south, or a slightly chunkier 3-note trump. So another swing coming in the other room. 4 hearts made north-south vulnerable, bid and made.
Yeah, there's been an undo here, so it's also bid.
Oh, it's bid here as well. It looked for a moment like they had stopped in 3. Okay, so as I said, it should most likely fetch, and this is a helpful lead for declarer, so he doesn't have to guess at the diamond suit.
What would you have led, Karen?
Good question.
All right, well, I'll jump in, and there's sort of been a swing, I think, in a lot of expert thinking, and I'm interested to see what the
And use spades. The third spade, what will happen? No, it won't do any damage. So, yeah, the club lead leaves declarer with a guess in diamonds, and that could be the contract.
So the heart suit's mildly interesting as well. There's been quite a lot written about this particular setup, and it revolves around whether East should, if declarer cashes a top heart first, which I think he can do, should East drop the 10 in an attempt to perhaps sway declarer into playing him for Queen 10 doubleton.
It certainly would be an interesting false card. So declarer likely will take one round of hearts just in case of a singleton queen somewhere, hopefully in East for declarer's sake. And 10 or no 10, then he needs to come back to his hand and make a second heart play. Again, for the spectators, I'm not able to write private answers to you. I have one hand not working this week, so best you send your questions. So a lot of possibilities, but in the end, simple heart finesse with no false card and a push forward.
Yes, I don't think the false card would have done any good. It wouldn't have swayed declarer, who after all might consider it could be the honest singleton 10 of hearts, in which case you have to finesse as well.
Exactly. Now, spectators, my style also over a strong no trump would be to pass with that west hand. All you can do is get yourself in trouble when you have no suit.
Yes, I totally agree with Kit. The 6 of spades, whatever their methods, is a sort of a wishy-washy card. He should be playing the 4 or the 7 or 9. 4 if he wants to play low in their methods, 7 or 9 if he wants to play high. So, do not get it. Let's have a look and see what their card says about signals.
That's really what Paul Heitner, my late good friend Paul Heitner, used to call a bloodless echo. Play the highest card you can afford to play if you're meaning to play high, and play the lowest if you're meaning to play low.
Okay, the ace asked for attitude, and Gorish didn't seem to have any attitude. Not to worry. Found the heart shift, and now they're effortlessly taking their 8 tricks. 9 tricks.
Spectator is asking no penalty double with 17 high card points from West, and I guess he came in a little late. My position on that is that without a suit or a strong lead, you just don't double with an equal hand. How about you, Bill?
Well, I think the problem with the double is that next time partner will have North's hand, and you'll just let them make 1 no trump doubled with over tricks. But I don't feel quite as strongly as you do about it, Karen. It can work, the double there, as long as you can trust that partner won't pull it unless he's got a distributional hand, and you'll take your chances against 1 no trump doubled. So I don't think it's that bad a bid, but I have to agree with you. I wouldn't double with that particular 17 count. It's just not strong enough on defence.
I have an agreement with my partners when I double behind a strong no trump, showing penalty values, that they cannot play anything up through 2 of a minor undoubled. After that, you don't have to double 2 of a major. But it's a good idea when you make a double like that, a penalty double of a no trump, to understand what your bids mean, and certainly all balanced hands should pass.
Yes, that's a very good comment, both that don't let them play 2 of a minor, but also fundamentally that you need to pass with a balanced hand even if it's very weak.
Okay, so 2 spades seems to show spades and a minor suit, and East doesn't really care what minor it is. He's vulnerable, and he's bidding game.
Unpleasant lead problem for North. I guess he'll lead a heart. No, the spade. Fair enough. He's gone for safety. And that will work very nicely. Mistram won't take long to get a heart on the table here.
And the Spectator is telling me it's quite unusual to have a female analyst in the final of the Bermuda Bowl. And let me remind you, spectators, that I've played in World Championship Open teams, and so have other women. It's not so unusual. I think it's getting to be perfectly normal. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, I would say it's a completely inappropriate comment from the Spectator.
So now East, North and South need one more trick to defeat this, and we see where that's coming from, the King of Diamonds. Since diamonds break 3-2, there won't be a second diamond trick.
So Gorish's 4-spade bid, well, it was unlikely to make. It was a bit of a two-way shot. After the 3-heart overcall, he had every reason to think that the opponents might bid 4 hearts, and he had no particular reason to know whether he could beat that contract or not. So nice confident 4 spades. His opponents won't know if he's bidding 4 spades to make or as an advanced sacrifice. It was a pretty good bid.
And I agree completely.
In fact, four hearts would have been a pretty interesting contract. It's not clear whether it can make or not. So it was best for Gorish not to have to find out about that.
So a confident 3-note trump by West, and I imagine East will bid 4 hearts. His hand looks more like suits than no trump to me. I think when South turns up with the ace of diamonds, North is very likely to be played for that queen of hearts, although to 2 rounds of spades, I don't think North is going to play a 3rd spade. He doesn't want to show the declarer that his partner hasn't got a high heart to rough with.
Yeah, I guess the problem here is North's very likely to switch to a diamond, establishing where the ace of diamonds is to declarer's benefit.
And then that pretty much tells where the queen of hearts is. Vulnerable opening with nothing outside of your suit is kind of unusual.
Still, declarer might not risk it. Declarer can pretty much claim the contract by playing 2 high hearts here and a 3rd heart. Whereas if, against all odds, he plays a heart to the king and finesses back to South's double from queen, then a diamond ruff would sink the contract. So the question declarer has to ask is... Sorry?
He's lost 3 tricks already, Bill. He's booked.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Silly comment. Quite so.
And he found the queen of hearts, as I suspected he would once the ace of diamonds showed in the South hand. It's easy to miss that there already were 3 tricks in for North-South.
Yes. The comment would have been more applicable in a contract of 3 hearts. Pretty good game to bid, actually. It was somewhat thin on points. I guess there were 25.
So this is some kind of a forcing club, you said?
Yep, 16 plus points. One diamond shows 0 to 4 ZZs. Not sure what that means. ZAR points or something?
I don't, that's another way of counting values. I'm not familiar with it, I have to say. Spectator suggesting that going up with the ace of diamonds on the last hand was a mistake, and that could be true. Okay, so this is a count system where ace is 3, king is 2, queen is 1, and jacks don't count. It's a different counting system. So there you are. And it's used in response to a club.
Well, I would imagine the Jack Union would have something to say about that.
Absolutely. All the jacks and right through the pack would be standing up and waving their swords around.
Well, they've screeched to a halt, but possibly they haven't screeched to a halt quite low enough. I think 3 rounds of hearts here will promote 2 trump tricks. And Jack 9 Doubleton.
Yeah, the 9 will definitely come into play.
If it does...
I think that... Go ahead, Bill, you were saying.
Well... the 2 suits, so quite so.
Well, diamond to the ace, and now if declarer rusts with the ace and draws the king of hearts.
Yep, no, it beat it, didn't it? If he roughs with the ace, then the queen is a trick. If he roughs low as he did, it got over roughed.
Yeah, that 9 of hearts was just too strong a card. 9 of spades, rather.
Mark makes an optimistic statement. Maybe 1 spade was down, but no, unfortunately, if you could have got out in 2 spades, you would have been okay. Oh, actually, no, 2 spades is going down as well, isn't it?
So it was.
Declara probably, yeah. Well, I think Declara could have maybe either roughed high or not roughed at all to save the extra under trick. But he took a legitimate line for his contract. If West had had 9/3 and East had had Queen Jack Doubleton of spades, then roughing with the 10 would have been the winning play.
Absolutely. So a transfer to 4 hearts here over a no trump. The no trump range looks like 14 to 16. And this will be easy, I think, for South. The sort of hand I usually offer tea and cookies. Go ahead.
Well, this shows the benefit of the very high-level transfer, doesn't it? Because look at East's hand. Poor old East has been preempted out of the auction, and 4 spades is a pretty good contract from his perspective.
Down only 1, it's a good save. I'm not sure if I would have let myself be preempted with that East hand. How damaged can you get? Looks like you should start with 6 spades, and you don't need much from partner, and look what he gets from his partner. Wonderful help in a 4-spade contract. Almost makes.
Well, maybe it would have been 2 down. Let's see, trump lead. Get in with a heart, play another trump. So Declara seems to have a club loser, a couple of diamonds and a couple of hearts, perhaps.
That's a pretty easy spade lead from South.
So, an effortless over trick here, I think.
Lots of distribution this hand.
Yes. I'll make a rash prediction. I'll predict that South at some point in this auction will bid 4 no trumps.
It certainly looks likely. Three only spades. Is he walking the dog, you think? Just trying to get the contract eventually?
Well, he hasn't received any spade support yet, so presumably 3 spades is a pretty forcing bid, and wants to give his partner room if he's got an unusual hand. I'm okay with 3 spades.
Well, you're not getting to 4 no trump here.
No. So he's gone with some sort of take-out double.
Well, I like your approach better. Bid diamonds first, then bid no trump to show a lot of diamonds and a biddable club suit. And 5 clubs is not only very playable, it's very makeable. North-south.
Yeah, it's not a great Swedish result. I mean, they're going to beat the contractor trick, I guess.
Well, certainly it'll start a diamond and then the 9 of diamonds, suggesting a heart return.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the rough, the cross rough, yes. So 2 down.
2 down. 2 clubs cashing. But then they're out of wood. Oh, hello.
Well, it changes the order of the trick, but no real effect on the result, is it? So North must have read this as a sort of a Leitner double.
I don't think this can have been a takeout double. I think 4 no trump would be the takeout double. Some kind of a Leitner double, probably. But now they better be careful. Ace and a diamond, and he better give him the 2 of diamonds to ruff, not the 9.
Yeah, I don't think it matters because Upmark knows that West doesn't have any more hearts. But of course they've lost the ruff. Yes, I see. The diamond lead would have been better perhaps.
Yeah.
Actually, did Upmark play the Queen of Clubs on the King? Maybe that was a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly. He should be playing some discouraging club because South doesn't know the heart situation, only North knows that.
And meanwhile, North wanted to get a ruff. So the last thing he wanted to be was in a trick 4, whatever it was. So that was a mistake. The Queen of Clubs was definitely a mistake. Fascinating hand, really.
Yeah, a blunder, really. Because from South's perspective, there could have been another heart ruff living.
Yes, absolutely. Would have been so much easier in 5 clubs.
Definitely. Trouble here as I play it shows majors, and it looks like it very well may be the same at this table. So on that ZZ count, North could have as much as an ace and a queen, I guess. 3-2-1 on that count.
Two spades by West. Jack it up to the 2 level.
Okay. At least 2 spades. Even at the vulnerability, your partner has shown some sign of life in the majors. 4 spades is called east-west.
Well, I don't see how this can possibly be diagnosed, this game, except by luck. The ace-king third sits opposite the queen fourth suit rather than opposite the void suit, and that makes a difference of about 3 tricks.
All correct. So Kwiatkowski had any number of spades to bid. He starts with 1. I imagine he's not going to stop bidding, though. Not too soon.
Yes. Well, I suppose this could work. If North-South get too noisy with clubs, then that's a way for East-West to diagnose their fit.
I might have chosen to be silent with that south hand. The more clubs you bid, the more you will help East-West diagnose where their values lie.
Yes, the problem is that South doesn't really know that that's the issue. He's just innocently competing for the part score. So the one spade bid worked splendidly. It gave him room to discover the fit. Fantastic Polish result here.
Just excellent. He now was able to diagnose a shortage of clubs in his partner's hand and realized that every card in his hand was working. Well, this auction is not over. Four spades was allowed to play. Is that, what board is that? No, that's a different board. Never mind.
Yeah. This could be down 800. This is taking a bad result and making it worse. I do think West will probably double it. He's not going to go on to 5 spades, and he's certainly got enough to beat the contract.
Double and lead trump. Oh my, North-South have no tricks. One or other of them has to double this. I would not be treating this as a forcing pass. There was no claim of ownership at the 5 level.
Well, 5 spades is unlikely to make. I don't rarely see declarer guessing the spades here. I guess it's possible. That pass of 5 clubs does seem wrong to me.
There are a lot of players who think that when at adverse vulnerability you bid a game and your opponents bid over it, that you're forced to bid. I do not believe that, and I do not treat it that way in my own partnerships. But Gabrice works out to double, so here we are. And I think a club lead is, oh, he can't lead a club. He hasn't got a club. Northwood's declarer.
No, South declarer.
Oh, he opened 1 club. Right. So as long as they remember who's declarer, West can lead trump.
Well, it doesn't matter. He doesn't have to lead trumps. He just has to stay off the spade lead.
Leading trumps is one way to do that.
It is. And I think it's a very obvious lead. And partner's shown the majors. You've got ace, king, 10 of diamonds. I think it's clear cut.
Apparently not so clear-cut to West, but definitely clear-cut to me with that hand. I'd have a trump on the table very fast.
Yeah. It's very dangerous criticising players who are in the final of the Bermuda Bowl.
I know.
Let's live
I know,
dangerously. That was a terrible lead.
I just can't imagine leading a spade. Oh yes, they're pointing out that West is very young. He hasn't got the years of experience that you and I have. He's 19 years old. I had forgotten that Ruth had brought a very young partner with him.
Well, he's a world champion. He doesn't get let off by being young.
All right.
Kulkovsky and Gorish has won the world championship in Sanya, right? The Rosenblum Cup. So there you go. He must be the youngest person to have won a world championship by a long margin.
One would think. Still, there are tens and hundreds of thousands of hands that we've played that he hasn't, that factor into our knowledge to lead a club on that end.
Okay, I just had an interesting comment from a spec who said that he was the youngest player to win the World Championship, but the German Rachowski in 1990 was 20 years old when they very controversially won the Rosenblum teams.
And now I'm being told there was a double game swing on board 8, that a double game swing is available. And we had discussed that, hadn't we?
Yes, board 7, where we were saying another clear-cut trump lead, which was duly found. But the poles went disastrously wrong later in the defence and allowed West's clubs to get set up. Well, that was a very eventful board. The nicely bid game with a little bit of help from some friends, then the over sacrifice, then the challenging forcing pass, and then finally the opening lead.
Been some complicated defenses and complicated auctions today. I think we're very lucky to be running into hands like this. As spectators.
Well, that hand was certainly above average in spectator value. And of course, board 8 as well is a very swingy result.
Now, board 8, potentially, depending on the defense, could be a double game swing. quite exciting. Nicely bid, and this should make without much of a problem.
Yes, drawing trumps would be a good idea.
Most definitely. Prudent. But there is a concern that if you draw all three trumps, you'll only have one shot at the diamond finesse. So really, he might not draw three trumps, 3 rounds. And the club lead might beat him.
No, I don't think so. I think he can draw 3 rounds ending in dummy, and then he's got a heart ruff to repeat the diamond finesse.
Right you are, Bill.
So this was pretty dangerous. It's going to work because both diamonds are on side.
But that was a little flighty.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was an error. If trumps are 4-1, where that line of reasoning doesn't help, then perhaps this play works. And he didn't know that clubs were going to be 6-1. So perhaps a slightly flaky play would be a fair assessment.
And 10 tricks to declare. So at the other table, on the hand where north-south make 5 clubs, 4 spades doubled was also the contract, but east-west, but the defense north-south
We're going to see a lot of errors made over the next 2 or 3 days. This is a long and grueling event. 2 weeks, followed a tough round robin. Sweden, for one, were no certainties to qualify. I think they just snuck in at the end, possibly in last place. And then 2 tough quarterfinals, and then those excruciating semi-finals. So the players will be incredibly weary, and the error rate is inevitably going to go up.
This really has been one of the hardest events that I've seen. And of course, there's been a lot going on off the playing field as well.
Yes, affecting both the teams here. The Polish team had a pair sent home, essentially, and Klukowski and Gorish only arrived after a couple of days. And the Swedish team only got into the Bermuda Bowl about 2 or 3 weeks ago. They didn't even know they were playing.
The results will be very slow to come to this room because the other room is well behind us.
Three-note trumps is an interesting contract played by East on a heart lead and perhaps a low heart back. I think the declarer would probably guess that suit correctly.
I would be surprised if he did not. There's not very much outside of the Ace-King of Hearts. And South did not raise. So 2 hearts seems to be some kind of a stopper ask.
So if you said, say, ace jack 9 fifth of hearts as north and the king of spades, your partner leads low and you put in the ace, you'd play the jack back, right? Crunching the 10 in dummy. Now that's the layout that declarer would have to consider if it does in fact go low heart to the ace or king and a low heart back. You would think that Upmark would have played the jack back if he had ace jack fifth, and therefore he's almost certainly got ace king fifth and should go up with the queen. That's my reading of it anyway.
Well, if he had ace jack with the 9, definitely. Without the 9, it's not so clear if he would lead the jack back. That might just tell declarer enough.
Fair enough. It's all
Seems like
hypothetical now. Yep. And of course he does.
Was cashing hearts from the bottom up, indicating maybe some kind of a club card. And a diamond across and a club could put Clara to an ugly guess, 4 down 2 or 3, but not happening. The quiet down 2. Multi by East, and we'll see what their defensive methods are.
Well, I would just bid 2 hearts here. They've given me a free chance of bidding a suit at the 2 level.
And 4 hearts, certainly a straightforward make for north-south. Looks
Okay. Leaping Michaels here. Clubs and a major. Pushy with that hand, but I guess it's reasonable.
well, the hand with the distribution really needs to take action. It is pushy, but it might get north-south to a slam. North has a lot of cards in his partner's suits.
Well, he doesn't know the suit yet. So I'm thinking that North might bid 4 diamonds, which presumably asks partner to bid his major. And then when South bids 4 hearts, North will definitely be interested. Whether that will turn into a bid, we'll have to see.
Hard to imagine that North would pass at this point.
Fair enough. A blame transfer bid by North.
And 5 hearts to ask for what, a spade control? Are you maximum? A lot of things he might be asking for.
Yeah, I like it as asking for a spade control. They know that spades is the opponent's suit. So I think that's probably how it's intended and probably how it will be interpreted. So we're going to get treated to a very, very thin slam here. I think South technically should bid 5 spades to show first round spade control. He doesn't know what North's got, except lacking a spade control. He might have every other card in the deck.
That would be the sensible response, but South just accepts the slam.
Maybe he's a little bit nervous about the strength of his leaping Michaels, which was on the thin side. Well, this calls for the analysts amongst us to come forward and say how this one should be played.
I'm afraid I would just draw trumps, leave the queen of clubs in dummy, and hope for the best with diamonds. And if you duck one diamond and then they don't work, you still have time, I think, to investigate clubs. Maybe not. Maybe the rough right away has taken away some options from South.
Well, you can certainly make it on that line. 3 rounds of trumps and clear the queen of clubs and duck a diamond. And that will make it if both red suits break 3-2. But of course, with the weak 2, it's not all that likely that both red suits will break 3-2.
However, if diamonds don't break, you still have the possibility of bringing in the club suit.
Yep, the jack of clubs could drop. But of course this is looking at all 4 hands, and there's going to be some bad suit break here. So easy to go astray.
Someone's suggesting a dummy reversal, but on that line the club might get roughed off by East, who has the 3 trumps.
Again, try and rough a club here.
It had every spot in the heart suit, which was is very helpful. And
now perhaps you go back to plan B and draw the rest of the trumps and duck the diamond on the basis that, having found East with a singleton club, he's rather likely to have 3 diamonds, 2 or 3 diamonds.
sure enough. And if West has 3 diamonds, well, West is just not likely to have 4 diamonds with his 6 clubs. So, Plan B looks good.
Well, East has got 6-1 in the black suit, so there are 6 red suit cards. Now if he's got 2 hearts and 4 diamonds, that would give West a singleton diamond, and he might have let us. If he's got 4 hearts and 2 diamonds, not so good. So 3-3 is quite likely, and this hand's about to just play itself. So well done. I like what he did here. So Karen, I'm going to have to leave you for the last couple of boards. It's been a great set. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll catch you later in the match.
And thanks, Bill. Very good working with you, and great analysis, even if you are a man doing the Bermuda Bowl.
Yeah, not bad for a guy. Cheerio, everyone.
This looks like some kind of puppet stamen. 2 no trump, 3 clubs, 3 diamonds says I have a major, 4 diamonds says I have both, and 4 hearts says let's play it right here. A version of puppet stamen. So they could identify a 5-3 major suit fit as well as what they've done, which is a 4-4 major suit fit. And I think we have one of very few sort of dull hands in this set. There's nothing much to do here but watch and see how many tricks Declarer will make. Looks like a spade and 2 clubs to lose, and hearts break, and everything's nice and easy. So a nice tea break for us here, or me alone here at the podium. Thank you, Specs, for your comments. I haven't been able to respond to them because I've had rotator cuff shoulder surgery this past week, and I'm not allowed to use my left hand. And I normally prefer to do the written. So I'll be back there maybe next week, maybe the week after. Thanks to the operator for an excellent job. Thanks to the organizers for allowing us to look in on this very exciting World Championship. To Bridgebase for a marvelous platform to watch these games on. And to the spectators for keeping me awake. And last board of this set coming up. This is the first of 8 16-board segments. 3 today, 3 and really got at adverse vulnerability, haven't got the weapons to start competing. To the spectator who's asking me a question, I suggest you ask Al Hollander the question at the table, because he is our systems expert extraordinaire. And while I will be sleeping through the next two sets, I recommend that the spectators not give up your seats that quickly. There's plenty of great bridge coming up. And it's a close match. East with his ragged 8-card suit really could not get into this auction at that vulnerability. And there's a little bit of a hiccup. Nystrom and Upmark have reached a slam, missing 2 aces. And the defense has gotten all of their tricks. 3 hearts, a strange bid that's apparently not part of the system, and they've paid for that. So I'll say good night now. Thank you all for your good attention and your comments, and just being here. Without you, we would have no reason to do these view graphs. We had some 4,000 people watching in this room earlier.